Hey, welcome back to Powered by 8 Racing YouTube channel, and we're going to be working on something that has 8 cylinders today, but it's not the pig up there that is still down. But that's okay. We're going to start working on that, I think, later today. And you can probably see in the background, let me see if I can get it, there's the motor. So we are making progress. We've got everything set up and ready to go for that, but we're not on it yet. But today what we're going to be doing is another airbag episode, which, if you remember, I did one on my truck a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure how long I've had that truck now, but I need to do another set of airbags on another truck. This is a working truck. It tows heavy every day, so we needed to get some airbags in it. And what this truck is,
Powered by 8.
this is a 2023 GMC 2500 four-wheel drive. So I have some airbags here, torque parts. This came from aftermarketusa.com. They did send these to me, and they wanted me to show you guys their product. And as I understand, they are the manufacturer of these airbags, which from what I'm seeing is this kit is very similar, if not the same, as the Firestones and some of the other kits that you might see. I don't know the relation. I don't know if they are ODMing or something like that, but this kit should be equivalent to any of those kits you see. So it's not open. I don't know what's in the box. So let's dig in. Get a knife. Found the biggest one I had in my drawer, because you know that's what you need. All right, so this is all the heavy stuff. Got our brackets. We got our air hose. We've got our hardware. All right, so it is labeled torque parts. All the hardware looks good. It doesn't look like it's that inexpensive, low-grade hardware that you might find. And oh, they give you a hose cutter, some Teflon tape, the Schrader valve bracket, and whatnot. Oh, does this have individual Schraders, or does it have a T? That is a question. Oh, it's 2 Schrader valves. So that's the one thing I will say. Depending on who you are and who you ask, you have 2 Schrader valves, 1 for each airbag. You could run them independently, but you should have your load pretty much the same. I prefer having a T, so you could probably just run over to Home Depot or something and grab a brass T. That way you only have 1 Schrader valve. You can air up your system. Both airbags stay even no matter what happens. The load shifts this way, it loads this way. The airbags are sharing the air. I like that better than 2 Schrader valves, and it's a little bit more convenient for the end user. But that's it. All right, so we've got airbags here and some directions. Wait. Actually need these. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, so that's what's in the box. Let's see what's in these wrappers. Let's see how it's different than the Ford kit. All right, that looks the same. That's probably gonna go on the exhaust side. It'll sit on top of the airbag, something like that, and then that will block the exhaust from the airbag. So that's pretty standard. See that in all the kits. Really heavy duty metal here, so that's not a concern. These directions are flopping around on me. All right, yep, big heavy duty powder coated brackets. All this stuff looks similar, you just gotta know where it goes now. All right. Oh yeah, that's loud. I'm just unwrapping everything so I know where everything is. That looks like the perch for the airbag. You can tell that by this beveled area, this notched area here. That'll sit, that's where the bolt for the airbags will sit. All right, so same brackets for both sides, so you don't have to determine which one is for which side. So the forward one, you got to kind of guess which one is for which side and how it goes. All right, so that's everything that's in the package. This is the hardware. I want to make sure I keep this stuff kind of in the right spot here. All right, won't use this till later. That's trash. All right, so I'm going to review the instructions real quick. Gonna review the instructions real quick, and I'll get back to you guys when it's time to start installing. All right, so there is a lot. You can do this without removing the spare tire. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it just so it makes it easier for me to film this for you guys, and then you'll see a lot easier what we have going on. But everything's pretty accessible. I didn't run the truck so much, so you don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about burning myself on this exhaust, because we will have to get to that jounce stock. That's where the airbag's going to sit, and then the other one's going to be over here. I'm going to try to get this flickering from the light taken care of for you guys also. But that's what we're looking at. Let me scooch out of here, figure out how to get the spare tire off. It's going to be some sort of adapter that has to come out from there, and we'll go from there. All right, to get to your spare tire, you need to open this access port here, and it should pop open one way. There we go. And inside here, you're going to see there's a key. That key is part of your key fob. You're going to press a button, that button here, and you're going to get your physical key out. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. There. I gotta take this out. There we go. All right, so you get your key, you put it in here. That reveals your orifice. So basically, you gotta just stick this on and spin it. All right, so that's loose. We're gonna need that flashlight. And there is a cable clamp on here that you'll wanna undo. All right, now we got room. I might take this tire off also just to give ourselves some room. Again, not a necessary step. It's just for filming. I'm gonna take that tire off so I can show you what's going on that side with the camera. I'm probably not gonna take this one off, but that's what we're gonna do. So let me get a jack under here. Let me throw that tire off. All right, for the first step, we gotta assemble the bracket. This bracket is eventually going to clip on the upper jounce stop. That's gonna come out. This is gonna go on it, and it's going to be what clamps onto the upper part of the frame, basically. So what we have here are some brackets that will go like this. Once they're on here, you will slide those, and that's going to catch that upper bracket, kind of like a clamp. So what you need is a 9/16, a 7/32 Allen head. That's going to be for the other bolts for the bottom here. And then you will need a 9/16 also wrench. Nothing's going to get tightened right now. We're just going to get it set, and we'll tighten it once it's on the car, the truck, because we got to get it clamped on, and then we got to tighten it from there. So basically it's going to look like going to look like that when you're done. See these two rings? We're going to bolt those up. All right, so how do we do it? Take one of these. There's 4 total. You're going to need one for 8 total, one for each side. But anyways, it's going to come up the bottom. You'll see that it's chamfered there for this. You'll stick that on. You'll get one of these gold bolts. And like I said, don't tighten it all down. We'll tighten it once it's on the car, because these have to be able to slide. These are lock nuts. They're just pressurized. So as they go down, that top will eventually, that's where you're going to get your lock from. So you don't have to worry about Loctite or anything like that. Got our next bracket. Got our next bracket. So like I said, that's what it's going to be. And as you can see, what's going to happen is this is going to clamp onto the jounce support. Then to keep it clamped this way, we've got these smaller bolts. That's where that 9/16 wrench will come into play. We will stick it so that this is facing away from you and this is coming towards you. So you'll get your log end like that. Don't know if it matters yet because I'm not in there, but this might be blocked and that's why it has to be this way. I'm not sure, but make sure that you've got the head of the bolt inside that as per the instructions. So we'll just spin this on. Keep it loose. Spin that on. And I'll move on to the next one. All right, so you got the two brackets ready. Now it's time to probably go under the truck so we can start getting that. We're gonna get that jounce stop out of the way. Get that first one up on the driver's side, and hopefully it goes pretty smooth from here. Well, it has gone pretty smooth, hasn't it? Anyways, if you made it this far, it's fair enough to give you the opportunity to know that Aftermarket USA is giving us a 15% discount and the Powered by 8 Racing family. So if you go over to aftermarketusa.com and use Powered by 8 Racing, Powered, BY, the number 8, Racing, Powered by 8 Racing, as a promo code, you will save 15%. I don't know if it's store-wide. I hope that it is because not everybody's going to be driving a GMC truck, but this is what this kit is for. But 15% off if you use Powered by 8 Racing at checkout at aftermarketusa.com. All right, with that said, let's get to work. Let me get my tools. All right, so the first thing we have to do, we have to get this jounce stop out of the way. So like I said, I'm doing it from outside the truck. I'm probably gonna end up inside this cavity right here, reaching in and doing that. But I'm gonna get this jounce stop off real quick and then we can move on to that next step. Trying to get, you can see where it's held in. I'm trying to get underneath that spot just to kind of release that from grabbing. This is always the worst part. There we go. And it's out. This bracket is going to be inside of the truck, just like that. All right. And then this clamps that cup. I'll show you once we're tightened it down, but there's a ridge right here, and that's what this is going to basically rest on. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up a little bit here. All right. So I don't know yet what's going on. First thing I noticed is that these bolts aren't going to be threaded all the way. So that's going to be a problem. This is a problem with my kit. You'll see here, this isn't threaded all the way. There's not enough threads on this to clamp that tight. That needs to be tight, and there's about 1/4 of an inch or so. I'm gonna run to the hardware store real fast. I got one right next door, a fastener store. I'm gonna get 4 of these that are threaded the entire length, and we'll continue from there. All right, now that we got all that done, I've got the driver's side bracket. This is the inside of the truck, that's the front of the truck. We will take this bracket, it will go along this mount support, and then we will clamp this like that. Now, this should not have a gap, but there is a gap, and there's going to be no way to get rid of that gap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some of my own steel. I'm going to make a plate to put in there, just so that we have, we can take that space away. I don't want this to be floating So let me see what we can do about that. All right, so I made the brackets. I made a bracket for both sides, and I don't know if I'll need it for the other side yet, but I'm guessing that I will. And let me see where I put that down. Oh. All right, so let's get this bracket on here. I'll put this on first. I'm gonna let it kind of hang there. And then I'm gonna stuff that new bracket under there. This is just a piece of steel. I'll slide it in here, and I'll just make sure that it doesn't come too far out the other side, because out the other side is where the nozzle or nipple or whatever you want to call it for the airbag goes. But with this piece in there, it now makes contact, so I'm going to finger tighten these. Again, I'm gonna hold, no, see that? That's not, now that's touching right there, that's touching. So let's tighten these down again. And it's still a little loose. But let's see if by tightening those and then tightening this, that will solve our dilemma here. Definitely need that piece to be tight in there. So let's get those tight again. All right, that bracket's in. Now we probably got to move on to the lower bracket, probably getting the airbag ready and whatnot. So all right, so we'll put some, we'll shove this in here. All we're doing is just testing it for leaks. So we'll just take this straighter valve over here, shove it on the other side of this. Put a few pounds in it, and then we can check it for leaks. All right, so that's 17-ish pounds of pressure. You can see the airbag is nice and blown up here. Now we'll spray some more. Don't see any there, so we know that valve's good. This one's not really important because it is, we're gonna replace this once we get it to the end of the truck. So let the air out, just like that. Now the bag is, now you can recompress the bag. You want to do that once you get in there too. You're gonna be messing with this. So now we're gonna need a marker, and we'll need a marker to mark the position of this. And what else? We're gonna need a marker and yeah, the lower bracket. side of the truck. And that way you've got your alignment of your airbag. And then if you look up in here, this center hole is our target. That's where our alignment pin is going to be, and our straighter valve area for the airbag is going to go there. Now you'll see this isn't as big as the airbag might be, but we can squish the airbag down and push it in there and we'll be a-okay. Now what they do suggest doing is dry fit in the airbag. Let me get it in there and then I'll show you what I mean. All right, so get the plate on the airbag and then you'll leave it loose. Get the airbag so that it's kind of in alignment where it needs to be. This pointing to the outside of the truck. This is going to go through the bigger hole of it all. And then you're gonna put this whole assembly in. Once you have that, we'll make a mark here, a mark on the front. And that way we know where this needs to be. And then we'll take it back out and then we will tighten that bottom bolt. We'll tighten this and we'll keep our lines where they need to be. That way we are in alignment, and then we'll put it in for one last time and get this attached. All right, so we're gonna just test fit. So like I said, you're gonna have to squish the airbag down all of the way. We will let it go back up, and that's where we want it to be. And then we will mark where our alignment is on it all. I have a silver Sharpie here. All right. Now we'll pull it back out and we will tighten that bolt. All right, got that tightened down for the last time, and we're gonna slide this in. So again, we'll compress it and we will slide it into place. And just make sure that when you get it in there, that middle alignment puck is going to be where it needs to be. Perfect where it needs to be. That's sitting nice. All right, so now what we can do is put the big nut on. So I'm not able to get the pin on there or the lock washer on there because it hits the jounce support. So I put Loctite on it instead, and it takes 1 1/8 inch. It hits that bracket, but you should be able to get by it, but just by muscling it. So let me just get that done and I'll be back with you. All right, so that's done and good and tight. Now we got to move on to these brackets here. These brackets are going to clip up underneath here, and they will attach to, so you'll see it, they'll hook up underneath, and then that'll attach to the truck here. So let's see what square. Up at the top, it's like a carriage bolt. Stick it down in there. Stick your washer on. Stick your nut on. There'll be one on the other side as well, which obviously we can't get to from here. All right, so you can see I got this one on. There's no gap here. And then the other side you'll see here, this is what you just gotta pay attention to. I wasn't paying attention. This needs to be hooked probably on the other side of your shock support. So once you get it on that side, it's good. I had it kind of cockeyed, and now it is tight and in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jam through the passenger side, which is way over there. I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm just gonna do it real quick. It's not gonna take that long. It'll take me longer to film it, and it'll be longer for you guys to watch something that you don't want to watch. So I'm just gonna jam through it unless you want to time lapse it and listen to a bunch of music. Most people don't want to do that. So I'm gonna get there, and then there is a part where we go to the heat shield. I'll show you that part, and then I will come back to running the hoses. Well, we'll see you guys in a minute. All right, so I ended up removing the passenger side tire. It was pretty tight in there with the exhaust. As you can see, it kind of blocks your way. If you're up underneath there, if you wanted to lay on a creeper or something like that, you could probably make it, but this is just right in the way. It's not the same on the Ford. And then that big shield, where are we? That big heat shield right there for the spare tire. It gets in the way from being able to sit in there and get to it. So I could have done it from up here, but then your head's right there, you're kind of tight. But anyways, I did take it out and got it on there. I did use the plate. It was the same exact way on the other side. So that's potentially a problem, at least with this truck. I'm not saying that the whole kit's bogus. It's just that with this truck. But the hardware for the clamps here is absolutely too long. The 1.5 inch, even a 1-inch bolt would be better, but 1.5 inch works great. Everything's tight. Everything's stuck on there now. We're going to go ahead and get the airbag, test it, get it in there, get that on there, line it up. And then right here, we're going to put a heat shield. The heat shield will just sit on top of the airbag, and as we tighten the airbag to this, it will hold itself. And it's just going to sit like right there. It's just to block some of the heat from getting to the bag from the exhaust. But that's all that's different about this side versus the other side. All right, so here you can see the heat shield. It just sits on top. There's a hole, and you just line it up. Once you get tight, it'll hold itself in position. There's no bolting it down or anything like that. And that just blocks this from being right on the airbag and whatnot. So that's where you'll put that. The rest of this has been exactly the same. I'm gonna go ahead and get those J-hooky thingies bolted on, and we'll be done with that. And then we're just gonna run those Airlines. But that's no different than the Firestone kit that I did on my F450. It came originally with just those pucks, and it didn't come with the rubber pucks to help it from sliding. So it had a problem. They fixed it. You just called them up, you get another part. Might be something they need to think about here, along with that hardware at the top. Now, I don't know why that the hardware was the way that it was. But again, it could come down to just those jump supports being different in this model year, and they just haven't realized it yet. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the hoses. That's a pretty easy, straightforward part. I'm gonna try my best to get you guys in there to see it. But if I can't, then just know all you're gonna do, you're just gonna stick that air hose in the tip of the airbag, and you're gonna run it to the back of the truck to a Schrader valve, and I'll show you the Schrader valves at least when I put those on. But other than that, I'm gonna get the Airlines in. I'm gonna get them zip tied up to areas out of heat or being pinched, and then we'll go to the back of the truck where the Schrader valves are gonna be. All right, so the one thing that you're gonna have to keep in mind, this one is over here is pretty straightforward. You can follow it. You can get it right up on top of this plate here that holds the, I don't even know what this computer's for, but you can get it up over that and then connect it to the back. Now this side here is a little bit more tricky because you got a heat shield up here. You got the big one here and you got one up there. I ran it above that because it keeps it away from the exhaust. So that's the only thing about it that you got to worry about. All right, so you get the box like this. All right, so you got a little thing like this. This is what connects to whatever part of the bumper you want to have it connected to. And then you take your Schrader valves. So I'll put it on there. So I'll put it on the bumper like this, and then they'll have access to those two valves. You'll see that spot right here. You'll get two zip ties. Those will go like that. You zip tie those bad boys on, and then you'll just and add some air to them. Let me get that done. I can't do both at the same time. So there's one Schrader valve for the right side, one Schrader valve for the left side. I kept them separate so that you don't get confused with them being so close. Anyways, no, they're separated, and that's how they're going to be. I'm gonna connect the line to the back of them, put that tire back on, and hey, there I am. Put that tire back on, and then I'll be done. All right, so as you can see, truck is gone, the doors are closed. I am done. That project was pretty quick and easy, it's painless. Other than those little snags we ran into, which the bolts being a little bit too long, I believe, and the spacer that I needed to make to fill that gap. Again, everything is gonna be unique to potentially your vehicle. I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing that had happened. It's just something that happened. So I would just take that with stride and know that it may happen with you. And this was, again, a 2023 GMC 2500 HD gas motor, 4-wheel drive, short bed, and it's just what happened. But we went and test drove it. We put a trailer on it and we put some air in it. Everything works fine. So yeah, yeah, don't hesitate to buy it. And again, so if you go to aftermarketusa.com, you can pick up this kit. I'll put a link in the description, or any of the other kits that they offer. Use Powered by 8 Racing and you will get 15% off of your purchase. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will be back in the garage working on the race car. See you then.
Powered by 8.